You know, we throw around the word own all the time. I own this car, you own your phone. It seems super simple, right? But what if I told you that simple little word is actually a massive legal concept? It's like a master key that unlocks how our entire society is structured. And today, we're going to find that key. All right, so let's just jump right in with the big one. What does it truly mean to own something? When you say, this is mine, what are you really saying? What rights do you actually have? Because let me tell you, it's way, way deeper than just, holding something in your hand. Okay, let's get into it. Ownership? I mean, this is one of the most fundamental concepts in all of law. Seriously, it's the bedrock for pretty much everything, from buying a house to owning an idea. So we're going to unlock what it really means. And to do that, to really get a clear answer, we've got to go back in time a bit. We're going to turn to a brilliant 19th century legal thinker, a guy named John Austin. And honestly, his ideas were so powerful, so on the money, that they're still the foundation for how we think about ownership today. So Austin, he's the one who gave us what you could call the master key to this whole concept. And his definition, it's not just some dry sentence in a textbook. Nope. It's more like a framework, a tool that lets us look at any ownership situation and understand it with, perfect clarity. And here it is, the big one. A right which avails against every person in respect of a thing and which consists in the power of using and disposing of the thing. I know, it sounds a little old school, but trust me, every single part of that sentence is just packed with meaning. You know, the easiest way to think about this is that ownership isn't just one single thing. It's more like a bundle of rights, all tied together. So what do you say we unwrap that bundle and see what's inside? Okay, so here are the 5 key ingredients that make up that bundle. First, you've got right and rem. This sounds fancy, but it's a huge deal. It means your right to that thing is good against the entire world, not just one person, everybody. Then there's the person-thing relation. That's the legal link connecting you to your property. And then come the powers, the fun stuff. The power of use, meaning you can use it how you want, within reason, and the power of disposal, which is your right to sell it, give it away, even destroy it if you want. But here's the kicker, the last one, legal recognition. None of this means anything unless the law stands behind you and protects those rights. That's the glue holding it all together. All right, so we've got our master key, right? Let's see what kind of doors it can unlock. Because Austin's framework, it doesn't just give us one definition. It actually helps us understand all the different flavors of ownership out there. You can think of it like unlocking different rooms in a giant legal house. Okay, first up, absolute versus qualified. Absolute ownership is what you probably think of when you hear own. It's your house, your car, you have complete control, as long as you're following the law. But qualified ownership, this is where it gets interesting. Think about a trustee who manages money for a kid. The trustee legally owns that property, right? But their ownership is qualified, it's limited. They can't just go and buy a sports car without money because they're holding it for someone else's benefit. See the difference? This next one is pretty straightforward, but super important. Sole ownership versus co-ownership. Sole ownership, well, it's just what it sounds like. One person, one owner. Easy peasy. Co-ownership is when 2 or more people own the same thing together. This is the whole basis for business partnerships, family cottages. And yeah, it's also where things can get pretty complicated when people don't agree. We've all heard those stories, right? Now this one's all about timing. Vested versus contingent. Vested ownership means it's yours right now, it's guaranteed even if you can't actually enjoy it yet. So if a will says you inherit a house, your ownership is vested the moment the person passes, even if you can't move in for a year. Contingent ownership, on the other hand, is a big maybe. It only happens if something else happens. You'll own this company if you graduate from college. It's not a sure thing, so you don't really own it yet. And this ties right back to that trustee idea we talked about. You've got trust, ownership, and beneficial ownership. They're 2 sides of the same coin. The trustee has the trust ownership. Their name is on the deed, they do the paperwork. But they're just the manager. The person with beneficial ownership, well, they're the one who actually gets the benefit. They get the income, they get to live in the house. It's a really clever way to split legal control from actual enjoyment. Okay, this one's a little more law nerdy, but it's so important. Legal versus equitable ownership. Legal ownership is simple. Whose name is on the title deed? That's the legal owner. But imagine you sign a contract and pay for a house. But before the deed is transferred, the seller gets a better offer and tries to back out. Legally, on paper, they're still the owner. That's where equitable ownership comes in. A court can look at that and say, whoa, hold on, that's not fair. You have an equitable right to that house, and they'll force the sale. It's all about fairness. And last but not least, we have corporeal versus incorporeal. This is basically the difference between stuff you can drop on your foot and stuff you can't. Corporeal ownership is for tangible things, your phone, your car, a building. Incorporeal ownership is for things you can't touch but are still incredibly valuable. We're talking copyrights to a song, patents for an invention, a company's trademark. It's the ownership of ideas, and it's the foundation of, like, our entire digital economy. So you might be thinking, okay, this Austin guy was writing this stuff, 200 years ago? Why does any of this still matter? Well, the thing is, these aren't just dusty old ideas from a history book. They are literally the operating system, the software that's running our entire modern world of property right now. Think about it. Austin's framework is behind everything. It defines your rights when you buy a house. It clarifies what happens in a business partnership. It's the reason a farmer can own a field and a software developer can own a piece of code. I mean, every single time you buy, sell, or inherit anything, you are playing by the rules that John Austin laid out all those years ago.